Okay. Romeo and Juliet, Act 5. Act 5 is always the best act in every Shakespeare tragedy. So we talked about the kind of vague outline of a Shakespearean tragedy. There's the introduction to something, the setting it up, that thing happens or gets completed, and then there's it all falls apart, and there's the picking up of the pieces and trying to make things still work even though it fell apart, and then there's the catastrophe, when everything just hits rock bottom and falls apart and all the major tragedy happens. That's in Act 5. And this play is called The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. So you know things are not going to be good. Now, up until this point, I think the characters being pulled by fate and destiny, and sometimes characters thinking illogically, makes this play seem a little bit weak, though I think it's intended. To me, though, for the most part, this Act 5 is perfect. It is beautiful and tragic and sad, and there's not too much illogicalness. So here we go. Scene 1. We are with Romeo. He is in Mantua. If you remember at the end of the last scene, the Capulets found Juliet fake dead. So now we're with Romeo in Mantua. He has not heard any of the news. Here we go.
If I may trust the flattering truth of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's lord sits lightly in his throne, and all this day an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts.
So, flattering truth of sleep. I slept. I had a dream. The dream was of joyful news. My bosom's lord, my chest, my heart, sits lightly in his throne. I'm feeling good. I had a good night's sleep. I had a good dream. I'm feeling good.
I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think, and breathed such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Ay me, how sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy.
Okay, so why is he happy? His dream was that his lady Juliet came and found him dead. That's a strange dream. But she kissed me and breathed life into me. So I was dead and she kissed me and she gave me life again. This is very heavy foreshadowing, and we'll see that coming up soon. I was revived and was an emperor. I came back to life. And he's like, how good, if the shadow of love makes me happy, then the real love, the real Juliet, will make me so much happier. And then enter Romeo's man, Balthazar. Balthazar, that's the coolest name in the whole play, Balthazar. That's Romeo's man. Remember, his sidekick, the guy that does all his business. He's the one that brought the rope ladder to the nurse. That's Balthazar.
News from Verona. How now, Balthazar? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? How doth my lady? Is my father well? How fares my Juliet? That I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well.
So he's just super excited. Hey, what's Juliet? What about the friar? What about my dad? And then he says, for nothing can be ill if she be well. Hey, as long as Juliet's good, everything's good. And then Balthazar's going to give him some bad news.
Then she is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument, and her immortal part with angels lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault, and presently took post to tell it you. Oh, pardon me for bringing these ill news, since you did leave it for my office, sir.
Okay, so he tells him the bad news. So apparently Balthazar has not been informed by the friar. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument. She's in the Capulet tomb, mausoleum. Her immortal part with angels lives. Her immortal part, that's her soul. Because traditional Christianity, you have two parts, your body and soul. Your body is physical, it's mortal, it can die. Your soul is not. Your soul is eternal. So her immortal part, her soul, is in heaven now. I saw her. I saw the funeral with my own eyes. I took post. I brought the post, like postage letter. I went to bring the message to you. I'm sorry that I have to tell you this news, but that's my job. And then Romeo says,
Is it e'en so? And I defy you, stars.
I love that line. Is it even so? Like, are you kidding me? Then so the audio says defy, but this version has deny. I'm going to go with defy. I like that more. Then I defy you, stars. I imagine him, like, waving his fists in the air in anger. That's not the way this actor portrays it. Stars, fate, destiny, fortune. I see what you did to me, universe. Now I will defy you. I will deny you.
Thou knowst my lodging gave me ink and paper and hire post horses. I will hence tonight.
Okay. Then he looks at Balthazar. You know where I live. Give me ink and paper. So he's going to write a letter. Hire post horses, messenger horses, fast horses. I will hence tonight. I will go from here tonight.
Beseech you, sir, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do import some misadventure.
Tush.
Okay. Be patient. You look pale, and do import some misadventure. You look like you're up to no good. You have bad thoughts in your head. Now, this word misadventure appears all the way in the beginning of the play, in the opening sonnet, in the prologue. Misadventure doth overthrow. So there's a hearkening back to that.
What deceived? Leave me, and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar?
No, my good lord.
No matter, get thee gone, and hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight.
Again, hast thou no letters from the friar? Are you sure the friar didn't give you any letters? Nope, he didn't. All right, get thee gone. Get the horses. I'll be with you. And now, here is Romeo.
Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight.
That's his plan. I will lie with thee tonight. You're dead in a tomb. I will be dead in a tomb with you. I want to be dead with you. That's his plan.
Let's see for means.
Let's see for means. Let's see how I'm going to do this.
Oh, mischief, thou art swift to enter in the thoughts of desperate men.
Mischief. I had an idea that only comes to the thoughts of a desperate man like me. I'm a desperate man.
I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts it dwells which late I noted. In tattered weeds, with overwhelming brows, culling of simples.
All right, so he remembers an apothecary. Those of you that play video games, especially fancy video games, you probably already know what this is. What's an apothecary? The person that sells you potions and herbs for, like, your potions, like the ingredients, like the little bits of plants. So it's basically the old version of a pharmacist. Okay. Then he says, I remember there was an apothecary, a pharmacist. Meager were his looks. His looks were meager. He looked poor.
Meager were his looks, sharp misery had worn him to the bones, and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes, and about his shelves a beggarly account of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders and musty seeds, remnants of packed thread, and old cakes of roses were thinly scattered to make up a show.
So he's mentioning all the things that he had in his shop, like as Romeo walked by. And just stuff that you might have. But he says something interesting here. Sharp misery had worn him to the bone. He was worn to the bone, which means he was starving. He was really skinny, which means he's not a very successful apothecary.
Noting this penury to myself, I said, and if a man did need a poison now, whose sale is present death in Mantua, here lives a caitiff wretch would sell it him.
So, and I was thinking as I walked by, oh, this is a poor apothecary. If someone ever needed poison, they could get it from this guy, because he's desperate, and he would sell poison to anybody.
This same thought did but forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me.
I'm going to find this needy guy and get him to sell it to me.
As I remember, this should be the house. Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut. What ho! Apothecary!
Who calls so loud? Come hither, man!
And Romeo is going to persuade him to sell poison, because it's illegal to buy and sell poison. But he's an apothecary, he might have some just laying around, who knows? Or stuff that's not poison, like, on the skin, but might be poison if you ingest it.
I see that thou art poor. Hold. There is 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon speeding gear as will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker may fall dead, and that the trunk may be discharged of breath as violently as hasty powder fire doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb.
Okay. So here's his argument, or here's his persuasion. Hold. I see that thou art poor. I see that you're poor. That's his opening line. There is 40 ducats. So that's an amount of money. How much money is that? I don't know, but it's way too much. That's like, here's $1,000. Here's $500 for something that might only cost $5, but it's illegal. Okay. Let me have a dram of poison. A little, vial of poison. That's really powerful. How fast? Disperse itself all the veins. So, that you would be discharged to breath as violently as hasty powder fired. So like the powder in an old gun. That's how fast I want it to work. I want to be dead almost instantly or instantly from this poison. Do you have poison like that?
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
Oh, I have that stuff, but it's death even to talk about them. It's like the death sentence. It's illegal.
Thou so burden full of wretchedness, and fearst to die. Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starteth in thy eyes. Contempt and beggary hangs upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich, then be not poor, but break it, and take this.
Okay. That's interesting. So he's his reasoning here. All right. You're barren, full of wretchedness, and aren't you afraid of dying, like dying of starvation? I could see that you're starving. Famine is in thy cheeks, like your cheeks are thin. They're, skeletal. Needs and oppression starveth in thy eyes. Your eyes are all sunken because, you're dying. Contempt and beggary. You're almost a beggar. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. You followed the law. And where did that get you? Almost dead. The world affords no law to make thee rich. The world's not making you rich by its laws. Then be not poor, but break it and take this. Take this bribe. You will not be poor any longer. And then he says,
My poverty, but not my will, consents.
I pay thy poverty, and not thy will.
My poverty, but not my will, consents. You know what? I'm so poor, I'll pretty much do anything. So, like, you've bargained because I'm desperate.
Put this in any liquid thing you will, and drink it off, and if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight.
All right, put this liquid thing in anything that you want to drink, and you drink it. If you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight. This is strong enough that it would kill 20 men. That's probably not an exaggeration. That might be true.
There is thy gold. Worse poison to men's souls, doing more murder in this loathsome world than these poor compounds that thou mayst not sell. I sell thee poison, thou hast sold me none. Farewell, buy food, and get thyself in flesh.
Interesting. So, Romeo, being, one of the big idiots in the play, has some of the most powerful, logical lines. He says, There is thy gold, worst peasant poison to men's souls. I sell thee poison, thou hast sold me none. Here, this is the root of all evil, money. I'm poisoning you, not vice versa, which is actually interesting social commentary. And then, farewell, buy food, and get thyself in flesh, which is a funny way of saying, put on some weight, eat some food.
Come, cordial, and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee.
And there's the plan. So he says cordial, not poison. Cordial is like a good, positive, alcoholic beverage. This isn't poison. This is a cordial. This is like a nice drink to have at a party. Go with me to Juliet's grave. That's the plan. And for there must I use thee. For there I must use you. I must use you there. That's the plan. He's going to find dead Juliet, and he's going to be dead with her. And that's the end of the scene.